My time as a warlord is done. I must now prepare to pass the torch on to my sons. Each of my eldest have become distinct men, strong and capable in their own unique ways, and I am proud. I will leave the realm in their hands and find what peace I can with my wife and newborn son. In many ways, my past still haunts me, but in these times, my heart is quiet. Hello Wanderers, welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 roleplay experience following Clan Stjarna. And where we last left off, the Kingdom of Bjarmaland was in a bit of a conflict. We are pushing claims of one of the Karyalainen family on the chiefdom of Poyanma, and while we were doing so, a rebellion rose up in the realm of many peasants from all over, really. Vepsians, Bjarmians, and Finnish as well. So we are going to be dealing with this, and I don't think it's really going to be that much trouble. I'm not too concerned. I just don't want things to get prolonged too much. So in the event that we're chasing down troops and doing long sieges and stuff, expect that we will be skipping through some of that just in order to keep the episode moving along a little bit quicker. Before we dive in, there is one little change, one little retcon that we are going to be making, and this was due to some of the good people in the comments kind of pointing this out, something I overlooked in the last episode, and that is with our new son that we had with our soulmates, I suppose, Aurea. We had originally named him Styrkar, which is honestly a really cool name, but people were pointing out that perhaps he would have gotten a Basque name in order to perhaps give Aurea a little bit more connection and feeling from her homeland here in Bjarmaland, and honestly that makes way more sense. So we have gone and changed the name. I got some good suggestions as well, so thanks to the folks who have been putting suggestions in for the names. And I did actually take one of those suggestions, though, with a little tweak. I took the common Basque name Satordi and put a little Norse twist on it here. And from what I was told and what I was able to look up myself, this name does mean Saturn, as in the planet, which fits with Styrkar and his kind of, trying to look deeper into the world and to the skies and like all these different things, like the various things that pop up within these spiritual and supernatural beliefs. Obviously, the planets and stuff fit into that in a lot of cultures. So I think that's pretty good. So, and somebody also pointed out how I've been pronouncing these letters wrong, and thank you for pointing that out. And unfortunately, I probably will still continue to pronounce it wrong. So, at least in my mind, this is vaguely pronounced like Satorthi or something along those lines. But hey, there's so many different cultures in this game, I'm bound to get the majority of them wrong. So, in all of those cases, I do apologize. But that is that little change that we've made. And yeah, we're just going to go. We're going to clean up these rebels. We're going to go finish off Poyanma. And if anything interesting happens, then I will obviously stop time and let you guys know what's going on. So here we are. We are actually cleaning up the last of the rebels, I believe. There was a minor battle. Nothing really interesting happened in that one. And then with this one here, we did manage to finish off. Obviously, our son, Frothy, who seems really big. I don't know what it is, but like he seems giant in this picture, even though he doesn't have the giant trait. But Either way, he crushed it in that battle. Nothing to be concerned about in terms of champions. He doesn't have a wife, and as you will probably be confused by that, he did have a wife. Unfortunately, she died in childbirth. His wife was the sister of the King of Denmark. Yeah. So we're gonna have to find him a new wife, actually. And oh, who do we have for options here? Well, this person seems pretty good. She's intelligent. She's quite beautiful. Or we could potentially have a high chiefess here, but you're probably like extremely, yeah, you're super far away. I think a Sami person would make a lot of sense here. So yeah, let's do that. It's in the region, so I like to try to keep the marriages to places in the region. So yeah, there we go. The peasant rebellion. It wasn't really much of a rebellion, and we'll just immediately execute this man for daring to rebel against King Styrkar and his great power. I gladly accept your marriage proposal. Well, thank you kindly. Suppose that means we're in some sort of alliance here. And, you know, we will support our allies as much as we can. I probably should have looked where this guy's at. Oh, he's way up here, way up far in the north of Norway. Interesting. Well, we probably won't be heading that way soon anytime in the near future, but it may be something that we look to in the distant future of the campaign as we try to consolidate kind of the Finland region. Now here we are going to try to catch the enemy in battle here. They've kind of pulled the war score back a little bit, but I'm not like too concerned about that. Okay, the Bjarmian war for Tyrhi's claim. She died. Died of heart failure. Well, so just as we were about to engage their troops in battle, our claim on Pohjanmaa has unfortunately passed. Well, that is a little bit unfortunate, but we have other options. But I think with our little bit of a loss in that moment, we will hold off on that for now. Bjarma land is large enough, and clearly it needs time to stabilize for our son's rule. And we've got all these other things to do here, so we shall be doing a few of them. So, first things first, we've been meaning to do this for a long time, honestly. Found the capital of Bjarma land. Enterprising Norse flow out of Scandinavia and through the rich rivers of the fierce Slavs to the east. Through countless settlements and minor realms vie for power, Slavic and Norse alike, only one can truly represent the unification of two peoples. It's a little bit different here. This is more of a unification of the Finno-Ugric and Norse people. But the idea remains the same. So we're going to get a bunch of fame. We're going to get a nice little boost of development, popular opinion for 20 years, and Varangian capital for 100 years. Varangian capital is awesome. Plus 50% levy size, plus 50% holding taxes, and plus 1 growth of development per month. That is very good. So let's do that. From the Volga to the Dnieper and beyond, Varangians ply the rivers and byways of the lands of the, shall we say, the Nordvina people. We raid, we conquer, we intermix with the locals. When we feel the need, we found new settlements or take them by force. Till today, these minor hubs have all competed to attract adventurers and warlords seeking to attain true primacy over the rest of the people of this region. No more, by all my mighty deeds and fierce reputation, I shall attract Norse and Finnic alike, building a capital worthy of Bjarmaland. Kolmogari is truly the source of our greatness. So yeah, it's going to give Kolmogari a pretty nice little boost. Its development went up by 4, so now it's 5. So obviously we are not the most developed place in the world, but we are the most developed place in this region, that's for sure. Bulgar is actually a little bit better, and there's a little bit kind of around here, but yeah, Kolmogari is definitely the most thriving location here in this realm. It's even more than Uppsala and basically anywhere. Nobody can compare to our glorious capital. So there we go. That is the first thing that we are going to do. And the second thing is founding a witch coven. Now, this one is pretty exciting as well, as Styrkar has slowly over time, even though he was taught these things by Sith, he had to spend so much of his youth focused on his quest for vengeance and fighting wars and doing his best to keep hold of this land, that he wasn't able to focus on that kind of thing as much as he might have liked. So the fact that now that he's older, now that his vengeance is complete and that his realm is at peace, he can finally focus on understanding the things that have always interested him. I think in another situation, Styrkar would probably have been a seer, a wise man, you know. I don't think he was naturally born to be a leader. Ambitious, yes, but I think his interest perhaps truly lies with the supernatural. So we are founding a witch coven. Obviously, that's just what it's called in the game. This is more of a family tradition, I suppose you could say. A collection of spiritual understandings that Styrkar has gained from Sif, that he has built himself, that he has passed down to his sons and to others. So it's not necessarily exactly as it says here. And a lot of these beliefs, it's a mixture between Norse beliefs and Uko-Nusko beliefs. Like Styrkar, I think, even though he, in the game counts as a Satru, I think that he believes in the Uko-Nusko gods just as much as he does the Norse gods. He would be praying to both of them because both of them have power in his realm and over his people. So this is a collection of beliefs. It's not just Norse beliefs. It's not just Uko-Nusko beliefs. It's all of those things, and tempered by Styrkar's own understanding of the world. So we will be kind of codifying this, in a sense, solidifying these traditions within our family here, as all of our sons have taken to learning this. And we will found the Stjarna Coven. So, like I said, this is actually my first time doing this in the game, so I have no idea what this does, what kind of events come with this. Nothing like that, honestly. So I guess we'll find out. Our wife is sick, which is somewhat concerning. I can't remember if we have a physician. We do. Our former concubine. I'm sure she doesn't have any biases against our new wife. So yeah, let's let time run a little bit. We will also hold a grand blot as well. Might as well get all these events done all at the same time, right? So we will hold this bloat, but as we have done in the past, rather than the human sacrifices that we've been holding before, because we've kind of adopted Uko Nusko beliefs and kind of come around to those people, we'll probably won't be holding the same human sacrifices that we were doing in the past. But we shall invite all the free men of our domain to come and join us here. And yeah, that should be interesting to see how our new family tradition interacts with the campaign. As I pace towards my throne, I overhear my champion Andre proclaiming something to my wife Aurea. Uh-oh. Okay, well, oh, how such a beautiful countenance gleams, being caught in her smile as warm as sunbeams. Although perhaps she'll break my heart yet, but at least her memory I'll never forget. See, reciting romantic poetry to my wife? Andre, you womanizer, to the dungeon with you. Yep. Sorry, Andre, but maybe we do need a human sacrifice at the bloat. We'll see about that. Of all the buffoonery I've ever seen in Styrbjorn's inane efforts to improve my relations with our neighbors, he has acknowledged King Eirikar's claim to the chieftain of Sortolva. Oh, the king of Sweden now has a claim on our lands. Oh, Styrbjorn. You're not very good at this whole chancellor thing, are you? Well, looks like we need to kind of shift our council positions a little bit, so what can we do here? You know what, Styrbjorn? You're not that good at being a chancellor, but maybe you'll be a little bit better as our spy master. And then perhaps we will put... Oh... I don't know, maybe let's put young Eirikar as the chancellor. Get our son in there, learning his tasks. Oh, since we do have our wife, well, our new wife, I suppose, she's got very good learning, so perhaps the two of us can kind of come together over the mutual love of learning. So we will get her to help us with patronage there. Yeah, so there we go. That's the new council. Eirikar, Chieftain Yerva, kind of an unknown, but he's a Karyalainen. Enemies, but also part of our realm. Our son is married to a Karyalainen who is pregnant again. Oh, well done. And then, of course, Chieftain Vasilko as well is on our council. So, and as some pointed out, no doubt Vasilko will learn of his parentage at some point, but we'll have to look into that. He wants to pay a ransom for this young woman. Oh, his daughter, eh? I think that we will probably... You know what? She's under house arrest? No, I think we're just going to keep her under house arrest. Obviously, not something... We're not just going to execute her or anything like that, but... The Grand Blot. By tradition, they often include human and animal sacrifice, several prisoners offered to the gods, perhaps even including a special choice of my own, their lives given in tribute to the gods. Though the beliefs of the Asatra demand this, there are those among my vassal who find the notions barbaric. Oh man, we got a lot of prisoners. I did not even realize. Oh, one of the Chudians? We can release this, this kid. Especially for a ransom. And we've got Caryalanans. You know. Oh, man, who's this guy? Lameti. Possessed, scarred. Perhaps he knows the gods well. You know what? I've changed my mind. We will actually be holding a human sacrifice, and we've just got such a great choice of prisoners here. And I think that the one we will be choosing will be this man here, Lameti. His possession, I think, would be something that Styrkar would see as him being close to the gods already. So he will be designated as our chief sacrifice for the upcoming bloat. You guys probably can't hear this, but the music is like really chipper right now. So, which is kind of funny because we are literally having a sacrifice of people here. So it's a little bit gruesome for the music that's playing right now, but the sacrifice Lameti is indeed brought up to the altar, throttled before it, and the rest of the human sacrifices are hung up in gruesome display. I think in some sense we've maybe toned it down from what it used to be. Perhaps there's just this one sacrifice to the gods and the rest of it is animal sacrifice. I could see that as something that Styrkar would do as kind of a little bit of a olive branch to the Finnic and Uko Nusko people. So we're not having the grand sacrifices that we did back in the day. It's a little bit more reserved, shall we say. So just the one main sacrifice. And that should be that. That was the Grand Bloat. So, what can we do? Well, quite a few different things, really. We should call for a hunt after that. Oh, we can host a grand rite. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that right after the bloat. We'll host the grand rite. So the bloat was going on, and then during that, or like just after, we gather up our sons, and then we hold this kind of extra ceremony. So, as the moon rises in the heavens, heralding her arrival, I can feel my body responding to the strange energies in the air. The silhouettes around the great bonfire are silent, unmoving, waiting for that which is to come. As the host of this gathering, it is up to me to begin the ritual. I will read from an ancient grimoire, play some tricks with sounds and shadows. No, that doesn't sound like Styrkar. He believes in this stuff too much to be like faking it himself. We could rely on charisma to improvise or present a grand offering. I think we will read from an ancient grimoire. The old words are strange, yet they speak to me on an instinctive level. They weave an enchanting pattern full of beauty and promise. My guests are utterly spellbound. As I close the grimoire with a dramatic gesture, their cheers erupt through the glade. Now that the main ceremony is finished, my guests and I are free to worship as it pleases. We could drink and dance and just kind of essentially it's a little like a little bit of a closed doors party from the rest of the bloat. Perhaps only the highest people in our realm are invited, such as Inga, and perhaps Vasilko might be invited as well, even though he didn't join us in learning of this nature. We might still invite some of these people. Or we could teach our son. Oh, he could instruct us in the art of strategy. No, let us enjoy the blessings of the gods here. My guests and I have worshipped Freya, among others, exchanged sacred knowledge and tied deep bonds. My mind is buzzing with new ideas, but my body is in desperate need of rest. A warm bed has never felt so tempting. May he watch over us until the next grand rite. So there we go. That is that. We have performed the rituals to the gods, and I think that this really exemplifies what Styrkar is concerned with now in this time of his life. Learning of the gods, learning of these rituals and the nature of the world, while he passes over the common ruling of the realm to his sons, with Styrbjorn and Eirikr in the council and Frothy leading our armies. And, you know, just because of all of our sons, and yes, I did see that Ori is pregnant again, which is great. But, you know, just so we can kind of go back through our sons, because it's good to check in with them every once in a while. You know, now that they are all adults, I mean, our first three anyways, you know, Styrbjorn Oakenfoot here, he lost his leg in that battle, the great raid on Wessex. He's perhaps the quickest of our sons. He's ambitious, patient. He's definitely the son that is most like us in most ways, I would say. And his marriage has been fruitful. The Karyalanians were once our enemies, but his wife has given birth to many children, including a daughter who seems to have inherited the same coloring as Styrkar here, which is pretty cool. Kat, Styrbjorn's daughter, Stjarna. Very interesting. So he's definitely the son that's most like us. And then we have Frothy here, and in a lot of ways I think Frothy takes after his namesake, our old friend. He's a berserker. He likes to drink. Frothy is like the classic Norse warrior. You know, he's good at battle. He understands it very well. He's strong in combat. He's a great warrior. He just enjoys food and drink. He's happy with what he's got. He's a little bit paranoid, but I think Frothy is the type who he just loves battle, probably loves going on raids, and just he thrives in that environment. Eirikr, I see Eirikr as a little bit more of a calculating individual. He's ambitious, he's just, but a little bit fickle. So he doesn't know what he wants necessarily, but he understands how to get it. Money and coin is important to him, but he likes to spend it as well. And he's also quite strong, a pretty strong warrior himself. So I think of all of our sons, Eiriker is the one who is probably most interested in the outside world for more than just raiding. He wishes to understand trading and the realms far. Like he would like to go and explore and see all these different realms, not just raid them like his brother Frothy here. And Styrbjorn is probably mostly concerned with things here at home. Obviously, young Satorthi is... we don't really know anything about him yet, and apparently we have another child on the way, perhaps a daughter. So, you know, we'll see how these things all play out. We can hold court, which we will. Let us bring in these petitioners. Who do we have first? Oh, I see Vasilko is here with us. Chieftain Magnus Frothyson. Ah, my lord, I regret to inform you that the religious situation in my lands is out of control. Let's try to make them see the light, but too many persist in their wrong beliefs. I beg you to use your authority. No, peaceful coexistence is the best solution, Frothy. Or Magnus. I always call him Frothy, like his father, but no, he is Magnus. Oh, unfortunately his son died. He does have a daughter. No, peaceful coexistence, that is the way we have always done it. My chieftain Vasilko comes forward, apprehensively escorted by his wife Girithir, who seems in a bad temper. She spouts up, my lord, Chiefess Katya is trying to seduce my husband and affront Odin. I've never liked her, clearly for good reason. Vasilko is clearly embarrassed to have this aired so publicly and can barely bring himself to meet my eye. I will not tolerate adulterers in my courts. We shall see if there's any truth to this. Very well, we will see if there's truth to this. Katya denies involvement. She says she doesn't have a thing for Vasilko. I mean, I don't see why she wouldn't. He's you know, he's a bit of a catch. He's a good, strong warrior as well. He's ambitious. You know, he takes after, in some ways, Styrkar himself, and which makes sense. Styrkar was the man who raised him. My sensible champion Ragnar bows before me, his trusty axe glinting at his side. I have served you faithfully, my liege. You know of my charge against Omelia amidst the taiga of Arkhangelsk, but I'm no longer young. I bid you invest me with my own lands in your kingdom. Other lords have been given more for less. You know, I think this is an interesting option. We can make them duel for the chiefdom of Pudos. We get a little bit of tyranny, but honestly, that doesn't really concern me at this point. Styrkar can handle a little bit of tyranny, but they can fight it out and see who's the stronger. Ragnar wins the duel, and he takes that land. Very well, you earned it. And so our business here is done. So that really, like I said, really settles things here in our court and in the realm of Bjarmaland. It's much more stable than it has been in the past. And I think this brief moment of calm is quite nice, honestly. It gives us a chance to really, like I said, sit and kind of take a moment to look over the future. Styrkar's 63. He's probably got a bit of life left in him, but you know, he's getting a bit older, and you know, eventually he will pass, and his sons will take over. So that's going to be an interesting time to see. And like I said, we want to pay attention because we will be holding a choice of who is going to be taking over here once Styrkar dies. It's not necessarily going to be Styrbjorn. Obviously, he will inherit the title, but who we play as a character will not necessarily be so set in stone. Each one of these children will have a different story. You know, perhaps Frothy leading a great raid to conquer lands in England or something of that nature, or Eiriker heading far to the south to learn things from the lands of the Byzantines. You know, we'll see. Or Setorthi. You know, who knows? Oh. Oh. What? Well, oh my gosh, you guys. What a way to draw things as a close here. When the midwife finally exits the birth chamber with a softly crying bundle in her arms, relief washes over me. Then I see the look on her face. I am sorry, my lord. Lady Aurea. Words fail her, but the tone of her voice says it all. One life has been extinguished, but a new one has just begun. I must stay strong for my daughter. Aurea has died. I was not expecting this, but that is, you gotta admit, that is really something for the story. That's, how is that going to affect Styrkar? He finally found love after all this time, and then it was taken away from him. But he does have this daughter here. We are going to choose a name. I think Aurea may have chosen a name for her daughter. So we are going to, and I've got an idea. This one was suggested here. So I'm gonna just look that up real quick. Yes, so we are going to name our daughter Irati, which means a rainbow in Basque. And I think that was the final wish of Aurea before she died on the birthing bed, was that would be her daughter's name. So we gained 25 stress. I feel like it should be more than that, considering that she was our soulmate, but wow. That, like I said, that is quite the way to end the episode, but we will indeed be ending the episode here. And I think that when we pick things up in the next one, we won't be immediately picking things up right after this. I think there may be a little bit of a time jump, potentially of a couple years in between now and then, to see how this situation develops and how the story will kind of play out as we transition towards Styrkar's sons and his newborn daughter, as well as young Vasilko here. Because in many ways, Styrkar's story is coming to an end. And perhaps it is time for a new story to begin. But like I said, that will be in the next episode. So if you enjoyed this one, you are obligated to hit that like button. And I have a feeling I don't need to ask you guys to make comments on this one, because I have a feeling there's going to be some comments already. So yeah, feel free to leave any comments down below. Like always, I do want to thank the folks who are supporting the channel on Patreon. Greatly appreciated as well. You guys can also support the Patreon by looking at the links in the description along with the Discord. So, until the next time, I have been Stray. You have all been absolutely wonderful, and we will see you in the next episode.